Hi, welcome to another video from Cardboard East. My name's Jay. I play board games from Asia and share what I find with all of you. It's that time of year again where the Tokyo game market is just around the corner, and I'm going to show you some of the games that I'm interested in, as well as games that might interest you. So here we are at the Tokyo Game Market website. You can see that there are far more ads than there have ever been before. It's at its new location, so it's no longer a Tokyo Big Site. Sad to say. But if you just go over here, and if you can't read Japanese, you go over here to Google Translate with the Chrome app, and then you go, boom, there it is, list of games. Press on that, and then you have, boom, there you go. Now you have different ways that you could organize this. You could organize it by recommended order, newest or oldest. Now, when I made this initial list, I made it like a day or two ago, there have been new stuff added. So look, right away, you can see right here, there's Revolve, which I believe is something similar to Scout, because I saw this on Twitter earlier this morning, and wow, my internet is slow. I do apologize about that. But I believe you have these cards here, and you can see it as it's slowly popping up here, that there's 7 and 3. So I guess apparently you're going to be rotating your cards around throughout the course of the game. But that's brand new. That came up today because people, are busy and they're running late. Let's go on to Gear. Now, Gear is from Takashi Saito, who is known for doing Open and Loop, two fantastic games. Open and Loop have now been signed, so you should find those a little bit more easily. Open is a shedding game where you're trying to bid on who you think is going to go out first. Loop is a shedding game where you switch chairs. And here is Gear, his latest game, and this is at like my top of the list. That's here. And you can also pick up shirts while you're there. So Gear, I think, is definitely worth looking into. Next up is Call of Yeti, which is a trick-taking game. I really like this artwork style. And from what I read of the mechanics, it looks pretty good. But it looks like one of the more polished games that I've seen. This one looks really neat. Now, Heim is an expansion for Gardo, and if you didn't know, that Gardo is was in my top 100 board games from Japan list. It is a tile placement area control game where you'll be drawing a tile, just like one of these, placing it down so that it makes sense, kind of like Carcassonne, and then you may or may not be dropping a cube on there. And the cubes can have different values, and then once you make a closed area, as you can see here, like this is an enclosed area, or like this is an enclosed area, this is a closed area. Then you'll look at all these cubes and see who has the highest number, and then that person will get score those points for that. And Heim apparently is an expansion for it, so I'm super excited, and I get to play more Gardo because I haven't played it in a bit, but I definitely want to go back to it. Mole Poker from Mob Plus. Mob Plus did cat poker and did dog poker, and people have been liking those. So this is Mole Poker. Now, Mob Plus I'm always interested in because Mob Plus did Nana, and Nana is one of my favorite games to ever come out of Japan. So I'm always curious what this publisher does. If I remember reading this comic book correctly, Mole Poker just has like some cards here. You do some drafting from each pile, and then you create your best poker hand, and then whoever wins that poker hand wins. Now, it's really interesting that English rules are included, and that happens more and more these days. Now, Patir is from Leo, and Leo did Vivo last year. Now, Vivo was a very, very simple trick-taking game, and it was good. It was cute. This one looks a little bit more interesting. Has that same fantastic cute artwork of cute animals, but I like how this one has the trump changes as you play the game. Like this lightning bolt goes up and up and up, and that determines the number that is trump, and it looks interesting. I just read over these rules and I go, okay, that's a simple, straightforward, cute little hook and gimmick, and it's enough for me to teach new people, and hopefully they'll enjoy. Live Mix is a game that came out last year. So this is an important thing, that Tokyo Game Market, just like any other convention, doesn't have just the new stuff, but also has old stuff. Now, I heard a lot of great things about Live Mix. Some of my friends that have played it both said they really enjoyed it. and I really want to check it out. Now you can see all these I guess images are broken because it's the older page. But if you look right up here, it says 2024. Oh no, spring. Oh, right up here, fall, right here. That says fall, and they'll be there for both days. Yeah, I could read a little bit of Japanese because I could read Chinese. But 2,000 yen. This looks really, really good. If you get a chance to pick it up, I recommend you try it out because I've heard good things. This is a trick-taking game called Werewolves Beat Robbers Horror, or something along those lines. It is a trick-taking social deduction game where some people are thieves, some people are wolves, and the wolves are going to collect the thieves, and the thieves need to collect treasure coins. That alone, I think, is really, really fascinating, and I'm really curious to see how it handles that. This this game. This is from a genre of games called Sentai. No, not hentai. That's something else. Sentai is Voltron or Power Rangers. This is where a whole bunch of humans go do this, and they put on suits of different color, and then they can have like cool uniforms. They fight monsters or demons, and then they can form a giant Voltron and attack things. So you have like your 5 people here, then they can fight these enemies, which are also the same suit because it's a trick-taking game. And then you have these humans, which can transform into these Sentai heroes, and they can fight these monsters. So I think the theme alone, I'm all in for. So I think and you can get weapons and power-ups. So that's really, really cool. I mean, you have a knife, sword, hammer, but really you want the car. Or a pink plane. Pink planes are also cool. This is something I'm really looking forward to. This is Utsuke. Now, Utsuke is a trick-taking game. Lots of trick-taking games. But the fun of this is that it's another game where it's a 3-player game, and the 4th player, or one of the players, it's a 2 to 5 player game. I apologize. One player is a robot. And if you look over here, you'll see that the player will have an open hand, and you're bidding on not how many tricks you win, but how many tricks the bot wins. And not just the bot, like the Lord Emperor. And the game encourages you to say things like this, like, "Oh, my Lord, what a wonderful play, how great you are." Oh, that's great. I love this. I love the whole idea behind this. And apparently you have like, it's from Little Cave, where you have a nice little board game cafe, which is really cool. And that looks like a really good burger. Too tall though, too tall. Burgers should never be that tall. Because how do you eat it? But the game looks fantastic. This is Tourney, but doesn't matter because it's by Tatsuka Chuo, which he I guess does a lot of design work for Uchibukoya. I did a whole video on who is Tatsuka Chuo. He came out with Sweetlands. Sweetlands is doing this huge thing, did Ostia. So this is this big upcoming designer from Japan, and this is his attempt at a trick-taking game. So I definitely want to check it out. Now he has some English rules here. We can go to these English rules. This website is so handy. My internet's a little slow, but I think it has some AI artwork. No, there's actual people here. And you are trying to guess, you play 2 cards to your trick. So you play the card here, and then you play your prediction. And your prediction is if you're going to come in first, second, third, or fourth. So the suits are ranked from strongest to weakest. I think this is really interesting. It looks like there's going to be some open information. So there's more and more open information as you play. So that's a game that I'm interested in. Coffee break. Good. Up next is Basket Shrite 2-on-2. Now, this is really fascinating. If you don't have a dedicated trick-taking group, so you may not want to try it because it's 4 players only. And the reason why is because it's basketball team 2v2 game. So I think that's really cool. And it's interesting, like when you have the lead, you have the ball. So after you have the ball, the artwork on the cards, it's not great. But if you win a trick, that means you win control of the ball. And if you had the ball and you may win another trick, you have a chance at a shot. And shots is what the whole game's about. And apparently like, there's this cute way here to keep score. And if you win the lead and then you attempt to shoot, then automatically, like, you become on defense and the other team takes the lead. So you can never just continuously pounce and win. So I like that there's back and forth that goes on there. I think this is a really, really cool theme. And I'm really curious to see how it's implemented, because I think that's the whole idea of this game is really, really fascinating. Up next is Bubblegum. Bubblegum is, I forget, Yokome or Meteor, this designer, does a lot of two-player trick-taking games. I think he did Peas in the Pod. He did like a Bellboy last year. I played Peas. I liked it. I had never played Bellhop, but Bubblegum is another one for 2 players. So I think it's really, really cool that there are more and more trick-taking games. And this one's about gum. And apparently you want to work together to get the bubble as big as you can without popping. Great theme. Love it. Moving on. I know what it says in English, but try to imagine what you think this Japanese means. And then we're going to translate it in English. Moderately elite. So it's another trick-taking game where you want to be in second place. Because if you're too good, your boss sends you, apparently, on a business trip elsewhere, and then you have to stay out of a trick because you're overseas. Super cute idea. Pretty cute artwork. This seems very bland, but very basic. But there are different suits of different things. So you're collecting seashells, you're in the business of it, you're otters. The whole idea with the theme of you want to be good at your job, but you don't want to be too good. Priceless. Priceless. Up next is Dig and Collect, a solo game from Jugame Studio. They do a really good single-player games. I really like all their single-player games. This one is about digging up dinosaurs and putting them on display. I think this looks great. This looks really, really good. And I would love, love, love to play this game. Next one is Black and White. So Black and White came out again at Essen this year as Milk Kuro. Much better theme. But this one looks like it's a continuation of it. This is a 3 to 4 player game, and apparently you're predicting invisible numbers. So it's pretty interesting. But if you didn't like Black and White, I don't know if this will work for you. The card art looks much better than it does in Black and White. But apparently, like, there are back of the cards give you hints as to what your opponent could have. So I think that's pretty fascinating. I really like that a lot. This is a Riner Kinia game from Studio Mundi. Now, I don't know how it plays, but it's Riner Kinia, so I assume it's going to be at least decent. And it's all about putting cats on a pedestal because, they deserve it, I think. I don't know. I'm more of a dog person. Sorry, cat people. But it does look promising. It's a Riner Kinia game. What more can you say? Air Crops from Masaki Suga. Now, Masaki Suga has done a lot of nice, heavy game work from Japan. His designs are kind of clean and pretty heavy. I believe this is like a 50 USD game. In fact, it's like 8,000 yen. And I believe how it works is that you have these people here and they're going around here, kind of like a rondo, and then you're interacting with these crops here. But the cool thing is that you have these cards that allow you, like right here, it's all in Japanese, but I'm sure it's really easy to translate. And it gives you a tech tree so you can interact with this differently. So you can change your strategy every time you play the game. Solid. This looks like a very, very solid game. Looks a very, very clean design. I'm really looking forward to trying this out. I would love to try it out. Hopefully I get to try it out one day. Next up is Merchant of Goldfish. Now, there is another game called Goldfish Merchant, so don't get those two confused. This is from Hisashi Hayashi. This is a really interesting... so at Essen, one of the big card games that came out was Fishin, where it's like a deck building, trick-taking game. This is a hand-shedding game. Now, on your turn, you either play something or pass. And I believe here we go. We can go to the comic here. So on your turn, you have to do, if someone played a pair of twos, you can play a pair of threes, so long as it's the same number, but higher. Or you can increase it. So if they played a pair of twos, you could do 3 of a kind of twos. But What's really interesting about this game is that if you can't play or you don't want to, you can pass. And if you pass, you take cards from your hand and put them to the market, which you can see here, and then you draw an equivalent amount back. So I put in a 12 and a 1, I get 3, 3, 3, and 4, and I add it to my hand. And you're trying to go out first. And I find that really interesting. I like this idea of like changing your hand up. And I really like shedding games, so I'm really curious to try this out to see how that mechanic works. Deep Sea Mines. This is getting a lot of attention on Twitter. And if you didn't know, like, Japan's all about Twitter. It's like the percent, like I think like the penetration rate's like over like in the 95%. So Deep Sea Mines here is a trick-taking game, but it's also an auction game. Now I tried to read the rules late last night, and I was kind of tired, and it didn't really make much sense to me. But the artwork is side beppu, and it looks fantastic. Just look at that. You don't get these little rocks in the game, which is unfortunate because it would look really cool. But you get in a nice auction game with trick taking. So and from what I've read online, people in Japan love it. So this looks pretty solid. If you like those two mechanics, this might be for you. Kahuna. Sorry. This has nothing to do with fish. Or Big Kahuna. Big Kahuna, is that a surfing term? Big Kahuna, the Witch and the Land of Spirits. This is an area control card playing game. So on your turn, you're going to play these cards. I don't have a good picture of it here, but let's go here. We click on there. Here we go. There it is. So this is where you play cards, and let's see here. Old Cycle. I'm really curious to try their game. So yeah, this is their game. So you're putting cubes on the board for the area control. And then there are these tiles that you're placing on there. And the cards that you play will all have special things. Like you'll expand your territory in certain ways. And every time you play, you can play different cards. And different cards allow for different things. So I find that dynamic really interesting. So look right here, there's Deep Sea Mines again. But Kahuna looks really interesting to me because of this. Oh, that looks cool. Now, I'm a big fan of cubes on board. On cardboard, and this is cubes on cardboard, and it looks really good. So I kind of miss this aesthetic from back in the day because this is the time when I got into gaming back in the 2000s. So I'm really curious to try this game out. And I haven't played any old game cycle games. He had another game came out a while ago called Chester that looked really good, and I want to try it out. Now, these are some games that I've showed you, but I want to encourage you to really, really enjoy and treat yourself out at Tokyo Game Market. When you go in, there's a little corner somewhere there where you can go and look at games. You could pick them up, open the box, and look at it. You can't do that at any other show that I know of. And now I'll give you an idea of what games are there. Also, there are old games there, and these are games that I don't have. So let's go on here really quickly. Nope. Here. So it's in. Great publisher. They are coming out with 2 new games. They're coming out with this one, which is a nice, cool little dexterity game. And they have this one, which is like a detective deduction game here, where you kind of do this code. These are games that are coming out as well. Let's see here. You have Oink, the new anniversary edition of Deep Sea Adventure. Comes with these 3 blue dice. So I think as before, you can turn around, you can move back, or you could boost it and then take a huge gamble and reduce the air by 1 and then roll these dice and then move that forward. So it's like an extra level of push your luck. And you get pins and cool swag stuff. Look at this. I picked this up at Spiel, but like this looks fantastic. And it's really, really nice. Fits 2 games and they become dice trays. Really, really nice stuff. What else did I saw over? This is a game called Orthognomes from Phantom Labs. And this is like an abstract game. And man, this abstract game looks really solid. Like apparently you're supposed to get it to fit a certain way on different sides. This looks really cool. This is another game from old games, which is like Chester, which looks really, really cool, right? It has that same aesthetic, it cubes on the map. So these are things that I'm also looking forward to. But I also want to mention, and we're going to blow this up here, is that there are other games from Japan. All the games I showed you today are all from Japan, but there are other publishers. Also, Sashi is there. 1 AM Jailbreak is a super light and chill shedding game. He also came out with Bus Stop this year. Both of these are really solid, really smooth games. Like neither of these are fiddly, which I think is really, really interesting, and I want to see more coming from Sashi in the future. Dying Message is from Thailand. This is the Japanese version. This is a great social deduction game, and it feels like you're in this 80s slasher film in Bangkok. Like there's a murderer out, he kills someone, and that person will pick a dying message, and they'll put a card out in front of them, and the killer will add like another message there, and then people are looking at that. And slowly but surely, more and more people will die, and you'll see the dying messages of everyone, and you get to deduce and kind of have this idea of who the killer is. Great social deduction game. Taiwanese publishers will be there as well. Like, so you have Mini Dinosaur, which is a really cool, solid little game. Mini Cities should be there. One of the best like mini card games about city building. Plate Games. Plates is from Korea, and this is Sardinia, which is an older game, but they put it in this style box, and they're doing this with more games. Like Tongo Bongo is going to be there, and Tongo Bongo with the plate version, like in this little tiny box, is fantastic. It feels like it should have. It has this nice, clean look to it, nice portability, fantastic. I want Plate to do more of these because I think all of them are great. More Taiwanese publishers are there. These, Hot Pot Holic and Trick or Treat are both solid trick-taking games. So I would definitely recommend checking those out. Some older games are also be there as well. Like Itzen's Wonder Bowling and Tower of Doubt are both really solid. I like this one especially. More games from Korea will be there at Mando Games. The expansion for the Veil of Artifacts. For the Veil of Eternity Artifacts expansion. There, I did it. That should be out there. That's a fantastic game. A fantastic expansion to a fantastic game. Quiet House from Mandu Games is really solid. You're a ghost arguing about how to move the furniture around, and this is really good. This is a fantastic family game. I really enjoyed this. We had fun playing this on Halloween. Fixer from Jelly Jelly Games. They also did Minecart Town. Minecart Town should be there. Jelly Jelly Games should be there. Fixer is an area control 2 to 4 player trick-taking game, and this is also there. So pick that up. I believe Origame from Singapore should be there, and if they are there, you got to pick up Overparts. Overparts is a tile laying game where you're putting cars into a parking lot, and it is incredibly solid. Like, I really enjoyed this game. And last but not least, Hobby Base is there, and they have a new version of Nikumi Onsen Karakuki. Now, you can also pick up Nikumi Onsen Karakuki on Amazon JP, but it is there. What they did is that they added 2 more characters that you could play as, and they double-sided the map from being 4-side players to 2 to 3 player games. So, like, there are a lot of games at Tokyo Game Market from a lot of countries, not just Japan, but I encourage you to go Saturday, get there early, get the games that you want first off, and then just walk around and explore, and if you see something that just speaks to you, pick it up. And it's because Tokyo Game Market is perfect for those impulse buys, because the print runs there are really short, maybe like 100, 200 sometimes, and if you're not there and pick it up by 3, it could be gone. So I encourage you just to go, have fun, explore Tokyo Game Market, and treat yourself, because you can't get to Tokyo Game Market every year unless, you're in Japan. And if you're in Japan, eat well, my friends. Eat well. Now, this is the Tokyo Game Market. Oh, I also didn't talk about the ArcLight games. What am I thinking? Like, there are ArcLight games that are coming out there. I played all 3 of them, and then I made a video. It should be releasing this week as well. So check out that video, and you can see the games that ArcLight, the people who run Tokyo Game Market will have. Also, Spirit Path is a great rondel game about ghosts trying to come back to the living by accumulating bones, and art done by Sai Beppu as well. There are a lot of good games coming at Tokyo Game Market this year, and hopefully I gave you a little bit of an idea of some of the games to look out for. Once again, my name's Jay. I play board games from Asia and share what I find with all of you. I'm going to put a link to a video up here that I think you'll enjoy. See you there.